The phone vibrated once on the nightstand. Not a call. A location ping. Her name glowed softly in the dark, sharing her position, like she always did on girls' nights, half drunk, half reassuring. The dot pulsed. At my address. I stood in the hallway, barefoot, listening to the house breathe. The air smelled wrong. Too warm. Too alive. The kind of warmth that comes from bodies, not furnaces. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I watched the dot blink again, stubborn and precise. Upstairs. My bedroom. For a moment, my mind tried to save me. Tried to rearrange reality into something survivable. A forgotten phone. A prank. A glitch. Then I heard it. Laughter. Soft. Familiar. Female. My sister's laugh. It slid under my skin like a blade wrapped in velvet. I leaned my head against the wall, counting my pulse until it slowed. Rage wanted to sprint. I forced it to walk. I checked the time. 11:42 p.m. Girls' night, she'd said. Wine. Complaints. Secrets. I smiled at the wall. Blood, I realized, doesn't just bind. Sometimes it conspires. I didn't rush upstairs. That would have been mercy. I sat at the kitchen table instead, letting the sounds filter down: footsteps, a drawer opening, a bed protesting weight it shouldn't recognize. Denial came in waves. Each one smaller than the last. I remembered the little things. How my sister suddenly knew our schedule. How she defended my wife in arguments she'd never heard. How my wife flinched when my sister hugged her goodbye too long. I had mistaken familiarity for loyalty. I stood when the laughter stopped. When silence replaced it, the charged, guilty kind. I climbed the stairs slowly, every step deliberate. The door to my bedroom was ajar. I didn't need to see much. The mirror did the work for me. Two reflections froze when they noticed mine. My wife's face drained first. My sister followed, slower. Defiant. Almost relieved. No screaming. No questions. I took in the details like a crime scene. My sheets. My floor. My sister's shoes kicked off carelessly, like she belonged there. That hurt more than the rest. I closed the door. Get dressed, I said. My voice didn't shake. That surprised me. They did. When they passed me, my sister reached for my arm. I stepped aside. The space between us felt permanent. Some betrayals are accidents. This one had been scheduled. I didn't confront them after that night. I let them believe they'd survive discovery. That silence was forgiveness. It wasn't. I watched. I listened. I learned how long this had been happening, how deep it went. Phone records filled in the gaps their faces tried to hide. Messages deleted, but not erased. Hotel charges disguised as groceries. My sister had always been careful. My wife had grown careless. I found the court order folded in my wife's desk, an old restraining order from a prior misunderstanding. A pattern I'd ignored. My sister had violated it just by being there that night. I felt nothing when I realized that. Clarity has a numbing effect. I moved money quietly. Joint accounts drained with legal precision. Not stolen. Reclaimed. I followed the rules better than they ever had. At dinner, I smiled. I asked about their days. I kissed my wife's forehead like habit demanded. Inside, I built walls. I stopped sleeping in the bedroom. Said I needed space. They thought it was grief. It was strategy. The confirmation arrived on a Tuesday. A simple email. Attachments. Dates. Proof stacked neatly like receipts. I printed everything. That night, I laid the papers on the table between us. No explanation. Just wait. My wife flipped through them faster as she went, breath-catching. My sister stared at the door like it might open and save her. "This isn't," my wife began. I raised a hand. Silence returned, obedient and thick. "You violated the order," I said, looking at my sister. "And you," to my wife, "violated everything else." My sister cried first. Loud. Ugly. The kind of crying meant to drown consequences. My wife stayed quiet. That told me everything. I felt strangely calm, like I'd stepped outside a storm and was watching it from a window. The police arrived just after midnight. I hadn't rushed that either. Timing matters. I watched from the hallway as they read the order aloud. Watched my sister's face collapse when the handcuffs clicked. That sound was final. Mechanical. Fair. My wife sank to the floor, hands shaking, realizing too late what joint had meant when the accounts emptied. I didn't look back as they led my sister out. At the door, my wife whispered my name. I paused. Not for her. For myself. "I knew," I said quietly. "Long before you thought." Then I left. The house feels larger now. Emptier. Honest. I sleep well. Not because I'm healed, but because I'm done lying to myself. Blood doesn't earn loyalty. Love doesn't excuse betrayal. They lost more than money that night. They lost access. To me. To the version of me that believed family was safe. I don't hate them. Hate requires attachment. What I feel is cleaner. When I lock the door now, it's not to keep anyone out. It's to keep myself in control. And that is the quietest revenge of all.